fifth speech from the Competent Communications Manual. The project is Your Body Speaks, with an allotted time of 5 to 7 minutes. The objectives of the speech are to use stance, movement, facial expressions, and eye contact to convey the message. The speech is entitled, The Perfect Pair of Jeans. Please join me in welcoming Lisa Cox.
It's him.
How would you like to find a pair of jeans that makes you look thinner, younger, and more attractive?
Hello.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Today I'd like to share some tips with you on finding the perfect pair of jeans. First, let's start off with styles. There are three main styles that are the most flattering to our figures. The first one is the boot cut jean. It narrows a little bit in the knee and then flares out slightly at the opening. This flare at the hemline helps to balance out any extra width that we may have in our hips, thighs, and buttocks. So the boot cut is going to be quite flattering. The next one that we would want to wear is the wide leg or the trouser jean. This one's a little bit more dressy, but it has a wider leg in the thigh, the knee, and the opening. You can see this one's a little bit wider opening than the prior one. Again, the point of this wider opening is to counterbalance any extra we may have in the bottom half. The third style that is slenderizing and flattering is called the straight leg cut. It essentially has the same width in the thigh, the knee, and the opening. It creates a straight leg line that's very slimming. You can see this opening is even narrower than the previous two, but it's very flattering. This one's my personal favorite. The one we're going to want to stay away from usually is the skinny leg jean. It's quite narrow in the thigh, tapering down to a narrow leg opening. This narrow leg opening will tend to accentuate or amplify the bottom half. So usually we want to stay away from this, leaving the skinny jeans to the extra skinny people. So we've got three main styles: the boot cut, the wide leg, also called the trouser, and the straight leg. Let's talk about color next. The best color for slenderizing and slimming is going to be your darker wash jean. For the same reason that we like to wear the black pants, because they're slimming. Dark colors take weight off visually. So when you're looking for a jean, look for a color that's a dark denim wash. Try to stay away from the very light washes or even the horizontal streaking that you see on some jeans. Those lighter colors, that light streaking and distressing, tends to visually add pounds and amplify the area. So stay with your nice dark reds. Next, let's talk about the rise of the jean. The rise is going to be the distance between the waistband and the crotch seam. You're going to want to look for a mid-rise, is what it's called. This is an 8 to 9 inch difference between this waistband and the seam down here. Mid-rise will be the most flattering. We want to stay away from the high rise, which is above the navel. The high rise tends to give us that mom jean look, which tends to, again, amplify the bottom half. We also want to stay away from that low rise jean because there's no containment. You know what I mean. We've all seen the ladies with the tummy spillover and the dreaded muffin top. We don't want those things. So go for a mid-rise, 8 to 9 inches. Next, let's talk about fabric. The best fabric in your jean is going to have a little bit of stretch in it. So when you look at the label, look for a jean that has 2 to 3% lycra or spandex in it. A A little bit of stretch is going to give you a better fit and more comfort. Try to stay away from a jean that is 100% cotton. Not as comfortable, and it's not going to fit as good. Speaking of fit, when you're looking for a jean and you try it on, which you have to do, you want to look for a fit that is snug. You want it to hug the curves and trace the silhouette of the body. You don't want it to be too big and boxy, because then you're going to look bigger than what you really are. You also don't want a jean that's too tight and narrow, because that's going to emphasize lumps and bumps that we're trying to conceal. So again, with your fit, you want snug, you want it to hug and skim the lines of your natural silhouette. With the front of the jean, you want to look for a flat front in your jeans and even your regular pants. Try to not have pleats in your pants. Pleats add extra fabric to the front, and that tends to maximize the tummy rather than concealing it. So you want a flat front. In the back, you want to have large, simple pockets. You don't want to have small pockets, and you don't want to be pocketless. Pockets, especially the larger pockets, help to break up the expanse that may be back there. Also with your pockets, stick with a plain pocket. Try to avoid embellishment, bling, flaps, because those things, again, add volume to the area, which makes you look bigger than what you are. You want a large but simple pocket. Lastly, let's mention the hem. You want a nice long leg, so go for a hem that hits 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch from the ground. You don't want your hem to be too short, because then you actually look wider, and if you look wider, you're going to look like you've gained a little bit too much weight in the last couple days when you really haven't. You also don't want a hem that's way too long, because then you just look sloppy. So you want a hem 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch from the ground. It's going to be the most attractive. All right. Hopefully, you now have a better idea of how to choose the perfect pair of jeans to make you look thinner, younger, and more attractive. Now, with all that being said, who wants to go shopping?